Kenya is in the middle of a major industrial transition as a country gears towards an industrialized nation by the year 2030. And the question is this: what do we need to do to accelerate the rate of research and development in this country? On this week's edition of Inside Government, we're talking to Professor David Tuigong. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Industrial Development Research Institute. Thank you very much indeed, Prof, for finding time to be with us here. This institution has been around now for more than 50 years. What would you say has been the biggest achievement of KIRDI?
Thanks a lot, and welcome to KIRDI. KIRDI, as you rightfully said, has been in existence since 1946. So that's quite a while ago. And we, as an institution, have had a lot of milestones in terms of product development and also the outputs, research outputs that we have had over years. We've over 1,000 research outputs that have been registered, and they are being utilized by a number of SMEs and industries. One of our first product was the famous Kimbo. Kimbo was a product of KIRDI. I think it was the first product of KIRDI. So over time, we've had over 1,000 products that are there out there being consumed and being produced by various institutions around the country.
Mm-hmm. And one would say that when you look at research and development here in Kenya, I mean, in terms of funding allocation, we're talking about less than 2% of the gross domestic product. And when you look at, our aspiration to become a newly industrialized nation, do you think we are putting our money where the mouth is?
So far, the amount of research funds is still lagging behind, of course, because of challenges as a country that is developing. There are priorities like education, health. But so far, the research funds are lagging behind, and more could be done. In fact, that 2% is not practically possible at the moment, but we hope as we go forward, that 2% of GBV will be apportioned for research.
Mm-hmm. In your opinion, you say that it is not practically possible. What makes you believe so?
Because of the challenges that we have, especially in terms of infrastructure development that we need, the health services that we need to make our people's citizens well taken care in terms of their health. Research is still at back burner, but there is need for us to, in order for us to be industrialized, we need to bring that forward and ensure that that 2% is reserved for research across the board. As in KIRDI, we are an industrial research institution. There are people in health research, KITRI. There are people in agriculture research, the KALRO. Then we've got fisheries, KIMRI, which is in Mombasa. And all those require actually uptake of high-level research facilities, and therefore there is need now to gradually improve on our percentage of GDP that is given to research.
Mm-hmm. It has always been argued that the reason why we do not allocate so much resources into research and development in this country is because it is not one of our priority areas. Is this something that you agree with?
It is. It is not one of our priority areas, but it should be for us to develop. What moved Chinese in less than 25 years to come from underdeveloped country to now first world, and in fact is soon overtaking US in terms of the developed country, it is because of investment in research. Mm-hmm. So however small it is, we need to, in however small country we are in, we need to invest in research. Mm-hmm. Taiwan, South Korea, Singapore, Germany,
Malaysia.
They have come through investment in research and their own technology that is applied in order to improve productivity and therefore improve the production of goods and services within the country and to ensure that you have got the necessary goods. When, like Kenya, we've got the famous Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Yeah. But where is that product that we are supposed to buy for us to be able to build Kenya? It will come through research and development. So there is need for us. In fact, today, it's not tomorrow, it should be today. We need to invest in research.
How do we thrust the conversation around research and development in this country, to the forefront of our economic development?
I think it is coming. It's coming. More so now that the amount of human resource capital that we are producing, the learned human resource that we are producing in this country, with the many institutions of high learning that have come up over the last 20 years in this country, will be able to put forward that as these people go to the decision-making hierarchies in the country, that will automatically shift the weight to investment in research and high-level training in this country.
We are talking about Vision 2030, which is less than 10 years from now. And when you go through the Vision 2030 blueprint, it talks about, transitioning this country to a knowledge-based economy. With the kind of budgetary allocations we are talking about here, is this dream actually realizable within the time frame?
It will be a challenge unless we really triple the allocations that we provide, and also not only the allocation in funding, but also capacities in infrastructure, capacities in human resource. Those are also lacking behind, building the necessary capacity to be able to, in diverse research disciplines, to be able to utilize those resources, those funds that will be allocated to research as we go towards building capacities for 2030 newly industrialized country. It will be a big challenge. We need to really up our game and ensure that capacities, not only in funding, but also in human resource and equipment. Our equipment in research, most institutions are still outdated. We are maybe between, like for KIRDI, we are maybe 30 to 50 years behind in terms of equipment and research facilities that are for modern research institutions.
And is it proper then to assume that then the kind of technology or the kind of research and development that you're undertaking then belongs to the 50s or 60s then?
I'll say, thankfully for KIRDI, the government has invested in a state-of-art technology center, which is about 80% completion at our South B campus. That facility will also be able to be equipped with state-of-art research facilities, encompassing all our research areas, and also the upcoming new horizons in research. And therefore, we are confident that come next 2-3 years, we should be able to talk differently in terms of the value and the type of research that KIRDI is churning out. This is a 2030, Vision 2030 project also, started way back in 2013, and it's ongoing well. We are now at 80% completion, and hopefully in the next 2 years, we are complete the project of construction, and in a year's time, we complete also the equipping. So we are confident that we are going that direction of ensuring that KIRDI is modern and is up-to-date in its research facilities and also capacities in human resource and infrastructure.
Let's, for example, take the case of KIRDI. And when you look at funding towards research, a budget of 2 million shillings, what can you do with this amount of money?
You are right, Bwana Kimani. 2 million is very little. Fortunately for us as scientists, we also collaborate with other programs, and we fight for research programs all over the world, in OAU, in AU, in UN, in World Bank, and also in various funding partners, the Germans, the Japanese, the British. We work with them to fight for their research grants that allow our research scientists to also get get those funds and utilize in this country and outside with our partners.
But the problem with this kind of a model is that these countries will fund for research where their interest is. They're not going to fund research where the national interest of Kenya lies.
That's an unfortunate thing, and that is where I wanted to go to. That's unfortunate. We in Kenya, like for KIRDI, for example, we need about 100 times of what we get for us to really have a serious research output that is geared towards developing this country. But partnering with...
You're talking about, that's about 2 billion shillings.
200 million per year.
And now you get 2 million shillings.
Yes. So with that, we are able to really make a difference in terms of national goals and national development. So we are getting up to half of that, maybe between 50 and 100 million per year because of what we get from our partners, international partners. But as you said, most of that is geared towards their programs. All the same, those programs, we embed in our own programs that will ensure that it is part of our Big Four agenda, for example, part of MTP3, and also ensure that these programs, though we get from our partners, they also contribute towards meeting our strategic goals and facilitating the implementation of our strategic plan.
Let's talk about the National Industrial Policy, which is a document crafted by the government that guides on how Kenya is going to industrialize itself as we go towards Vision 2030. And KIRDI is at the heart of this document, whereby you're supposed to capacitate SMEs, to set up industrial bases at the county levels, at the constituency levels, through incubation centers. As currently constituted, are you convinced that KIRDI is in a position
We adopted a different model. We accepted a different model that we do what is called virtual incubation for the Kenyans. If a Kenyan has an idea, we go to his place and allow him or her to set up the structures, and we support them in terms of delivering what they wish to start producing and guide them all through the process. We've got also pilot plans throughout the country, a number of places. We wish to be in every county, but we are only in 7 counties so far. We wish to be in every county with our pilot plan so that Kenyans, especially SMEs, can use those facilities to, 1, for incubation purposes, 2, as a common manufacturing facility, and we also using our scientists to support them in their product development. We have slow habits. We are working with counties now to ensure also counties support that program in their own counties to also put up these facilities, and we provide virtual incubation facilities from KIRDI, where we send our scientists there to support them and encourage them, and also use our scientists in the product development.
In your almost 50 years of operations as KIRDI, are there SMEs that you can look up to and say, this is a byproduct of KIRDI's research and development?
Yes, Bwana Kimani, we've got several SMEs whose products are out there in the shelves, and they are doing very well in business, not only in the outlets that their products are, but also in their manufacturing facilities. One, of course, we're very proud of is set in Naturals, which sells natural products, cosmetics. We've got a good number. We've got one in Kisii, who is also selling banana crisps and banana wine. In fact, they are exporting banana wine. It's a wonderful thing. If you go to Kisumu and go to Kisii and go to our center in Kisii, you will find top-of-range banana wine, which is packaged for foreign exports. So research is there. There are so many utility models that are with various agencies that store and register those utility models. But we've got a weakness as an economy in uptake of those utility models and research output that has been churned from such institutions and are kept in, for example, for Kenya, it's in KITRI. This is, of course, the dynamics of production and the African culture in terms of adapting the technologies to ensure that they go to the next level in their productivity. Mm-hmm. We've got that challenge, but we are training our people, we are guiding our people so that they don't only depend on buying what is coming from abroad, but developing their own and also competing with the giants that are, and they'll reach there. Mm-hmm. We know they will reach.
You're also into the research of energy. Are we likely to get to a situation whereby, through research, we can bring down the cost of energy and the cost of production in this country?
We in KIRDI, we are really looking into that, how costs can be reduced, especially cost of power, which is a very big item here. So in KIRDI, we are now working with various partners to see how to improve and extend the energy that is coming from renewable. Kenya is very lucky to have vast renewable energy sources, and therefore we are working towards ensuring that those are tapped, and also the tapped side that it is the cost is massive, especially when you take off solar energy. Solar energy is very expensive. So our scientists are working towards to look for ways of bringing down the cost of panels, to bring down so that the cost of solar energy is not that high. So those are the things that we are working on.
Are we likely to have any breakthrough anytime soon?
We are working with our partners. With the challenge is massive, but we are not tiring. We want to ensure that we get a breakthrough in that.
How do we make institutions like KIRDI to be part of a global solution to challenges, facing the world, Kenya being one of them?
The support is very important. The state support, funding is very important. Capacity improvement, especially human resource capacity, and exposure to international research institutions that are really having breakthroughs and solving the national challenges on a daily basis. Those are the issues that we are trying to address as KIRDI, and we are working with our committee, Parliament Committee in charge of trade, industry, and cooperative to see how to expand the portfolio that is coming to KIRDI to allow us to accomplish our targets and our strategies for now and in the future.
Prof, the mandate of developing a country, it's not only or entirely left to the state. There is also what we call the non-state actors. You're talking about the private sector, you're talking about NGOs, you're talking about investing community. How do we make research and development good enough for even private sector to partner with the government?
Yeah, that is possible, and that's another avenue we are going through in KIRDI to ensure that what the research output from our scientists is geared towards improving certain challenges in the industry, and therefore attracting the industry to our research requirements, and therefore partnering with us. We are actually looking at that, and we have set aside a few disciplines that are working towards that. One of them is where we are now, what is our food research division. We are working towards ensuring that this research division is entirely funded by the private sector. That is where we are going towards now. But of course, the private sector also has to be strong enough, have to have the muscle to be able to fund. And that is why we need to shift from trading private sector to manufacturing trading sector. That the manufacturing private sector will fund research towards manufacturing, but trading private sector will have less inclination to fund research in the industry. Yes.
There are a lot of machines here, but most of these machines are imported. And actually, one would say that almost 95% of the machines that you have here are imported. As a research institution, I mean, are you looking at a situation whereby instead of importing this kind of machinery, you will be able to research on them, develop them, and of course, roll out for public consumption?
Yes, you are right in some facilities that 90%, 80% is imported. But some facilities up to 90% is local. One of them is this facility here. This facility, 90% of the equipment is manufactured in our own workshop. We manufacture ourselves. But there is high-end research institution, laboratories like chemical laboratory, where we use digital equipment, high-end equipment, we still import. But some areas we manufacture ourselves. And that is one thing of KIRDI that is proud of, that it manufactures up to 50% of its equipment is manufactured in our own facility.
Are you convinced that our policies are not in conflict with each other when it comes to issues around research?
Thanks a lot. No, we are not convinced. These are well-designed, defined institutions with their own acts of parliament that clarifies their mandate and their research fields, which are completely different from one institution to the other. If you also see the parent ministry of these research institutions is completely different. We are housed in the ministry that is responsible for industry. KITRI is housed in the ministry responsible for health, and so forth and so forth. Therefore, there is complete demarcation. But of course, we work in, there's a lot of interrelation in our work. For example, KITRI, there's a good number of research that we partner together, because in medical research, there is a component of equipment required and also the technology, the science and technology that is required there. So we work very well. As we talk now, we are working towards establishing a ventilator. You need KITRI for that. KIRDI is on the hardware, but on the software and also on the application will be KITRI. So we partner together quite often. In agriculture, we partner a lot with agriculture when it comes to machinery equipment. The application and technology will be from KIRDI, but the engineering of it and the science is KIRDI's.
There is a lot of what you would call compartmentalization, you know, in the research field here in Kenya, whereby this arm of research does not know what exactly the other arm is doing. Is it possible to bring all the research community under one roof, under one platform, for knowledge sharing and, of course, for policy formulation, for easier policy formulation?
We are there. We are doing that. Maybe not in a big way, but we are all under NACOSTI. NACOSTI is our umbrella organization which covers all of us. It's a commission that covers all our operations and, of course, supervises us. And from time to time, there is a national conference that, in fact, where we are in terms of research nationally and where are we going and what are the challenges and what do we need to address those challenges. So we do that.
What is the future of research and development in this country?
It is very bright. You know, when you have got many challenges, then the opportunities are massive. There are massive opportunities for research in this country. What is required is only investment, both in capital investment, in human resource, and also on the equipment. So the research field is wider and ready actually for uptake of the output from these research institutions.
Very well, Prof. Thank you very much for your time and, of course, for your insight.
Thanks.
And joining us here on Inside Government.
Thank you, Kimani. Thanks a lot for coming to KIRDI, and all the best. Thanks a lot.
Well, we have been discussing issues around research and development and how, as a country, we can upscale investment in R&D. You have heard it from KIRDI CEO, Professor David Tuigong. My name is O'Brien Kimani. This has been Inside Government. Thank you for your time. We'll meet again next week, same time right here on KBC. Have a good time.